Hey everyone, I'm Eric Johnson. I'm the EVP of Engineering here at GitLab, and this is the November 24th Engineering Key meeting review. If you want to follow along with the content we're reviewing, just Google GitLab Engineering Key Meeting Agenda, and you'll see the page that we're discussing. And if you're watching this 10 years from now and you want to see exactly the version we're discussing live, just go into source control and you can see the file on today's date. So with that, the first three items in our Google Doc agenda are FYIs. Mac, you've got number 4.
Thank you. So to follow up from the last key review, bug mean time to close, we performed due diligence on pivoting the chart from bug close date, from bug open date to bug close date, and we had findings. And this is where we geared on business urgency first and asking for forgiveness later. I believe that the data is now better. It paints a better story, and it's not just charts going towards the left. So S1s we're under, which is good. I'm going to monitor this for a while before setting this to green. Though with S2s, there's an uptick, and I also provided, I think I know why, I provided in Craig's point in 6A. That's because in Q3, we had an initiative to clean up stale bug backlogs, and we closed some inactive bugs. That may have added to the uptick in closure time for those, and the time frame lines up. So I wanted to provide that visibility there. And we gear on transparency, so I open up for feedback. And, there's also in 4B, we're working on providing additional close times by percentages as well, and that's ongoing.
Mike, is this the right handbook link that I just put into sub-bullet C?
That is correct.
Hey, Mac, thanks for making those changes. I think it does tell the story of what's going on really, really much better than it did prior. So I think it's a great iteration, a great improvement. So I think I made that point in 6. I think we need one more perspective too, which is the point you just made, right? I have a bunch of older bugs, and if I clean those up, right, it's going to lift up based on close dates. That's what will happen. So I think the other thing we just have to monitor from a bug efficacy perspective is just like a bug aging report in some way, just so you have a sense of, because if not, if you're really trying to optimize for this metric, people are just, oh, let me just close the new stuff and let's ignore the older stuff. But sometimes closing the older bugs could be more impactful. So I think I think it's a good step forward. So I just wanted to give you that feedback, and thanks for doing it.
Yeah, I think you're right, Craig. It's got to be the combination of the two. And the downside of looking at the metric that you just mentioned, which we should, is like we're an open source project. So bugs tend to stay open forever sometimes. And so age and mean time to close both tell you something and hide other problems. And there's some combination of those two metrics that tells us what we should actually do in terms of actionable insight.
Thanks for the feedback. Credit to Kyle as well in our engineering metrics, the capacity with Lily. I think another metric I can think of is show the average age of open bugs. And we slice it by S1, S2s. And if we're doing the right thing, the average age should be trending down. And if it's going up, it means we need to do more in this front. So I look forward to provide more iterations in that venue.
So Meg, you've got, if there isn't anything else on 4, you've got 5 as well.
Thank you. So we shipped the first iteration of RA, ambitious goal. And quality department has outlined a detailed plan in the Epic linked. There's also work streams you have defined. So partnership with customer success and TAMs, because they actually keep track of the contributors from the customers, marketing outreach, engineering. We're going to work on increasing MR coaches and also tooling efficiency. And also point D is continue to improve how we measure RA. I can call out that one of the challenges right now is tracking who is from which customer, and that you can map to what ARR. So I just want to be transparent about the work, the strategy, and the plan here, and it lines up with our 3-year strategy as well. Happy to answer questions and get feedback.
As Beck mentioned, we've got an ambitious goal right now set at 100 million. The actuals are around 5 to 10, I would say. So we are squashing the y-axis. If that's making it hard to tell what's going on, we could take on a lower but still ambitious goal, and it might make it more easier to understand what's going on with the chart.
Yeah, that was the comment I put in, and I know Sid had a comment in 9, and I just added my comment there. But I was just so you could see it a little bit more clear. But I do love we established the metric. I think, how do we say it, Sid? Mer.
Rawr. It's the pirate. It's the pirate metric.
Okay. So, but it's there. And then let's also make sure that I know that it was referred to on the strategy page. Let's make sure we do now link, because it now is in the handbook. Now we can link that, which it wasn't there before. So thanks for setting that up.
So maybe 20 million, if the max right now is 10 and it's hovering between 5 and 10, just take on 20 million to visualize better, and we'll hit it and we'll exceed it later. Does that feel right to everybody? Okay. Mike, I'll create an action item for your team to update that target. So then, Craig, on to you at 6.
Yeah, 6 we covered already, up in 4, so we don't need to cover that again. But I'll talk about 7. So I just wanted to get an update on the average merge request pipeline duration. The trend has been flat, and I know it's been flat for a while. So just wanted to see how we're progressing there. And it looks like Sid had a comment as well.
I'll provide a brief update. I think it has lowered slightly this month down to 59. I think we have tasks already outlined in the handbook to run through. We have an OKR this quarter to reduce the costs, which I think it may help somewhat. Another highlight here is the engineering productivity team is stretched thin, so we're doing what we can. We're also doing metrics. We're doing other things as well. So we're prioritizing on what's most important, and some of these the progress may be may slow down. So asking for understanding there.
So I think we should definitely continue to measure cost, failure, and time, because they're all separate related things. The question is which is the key, and which two would be the regular performance indicators. We can demote 2 and promote 1. So Sid's suggestion today seems to be switch to make the key time, I think. Or sorry, failure. I think he's talking about failure.
Yeah, I think that it doesn't matter. It matters less. What you want to know is this thing gonna merge? I click the merge button. Are the tests gonna succeed so it can actually merge? And it's annoying if it doesn't merge, but you find out late. So the time to failure is important. If it's gonna be successful, it's fine if it takes 4 hours. If it fails, I'd rather know in 5 minutes while I still remember what I did, and I can go back in. So instead of measuring how long do all the tests take to complete, I think we should measure how long does it take to detect a failure. Ignore how long the successful runs took. Who cares? And then we can start doing hey, if we change this file, we should probably run this test first. It can be even simpler. Hey, these are the top 100 tests that fail most of the time. Let's run those first. It's a bit more complicated because we're splitting it up over 100 machines anyway, but let those 100 machines start with the tests that are most likely to fail.
And Mac has a long-standing ambition to do a machine learning project to automatically detect succeeding and failing tests, and then automatically prioritize the ones that are failing early. So maybe that aligns with your personal interest.
Yeah, I think this will help. And also then we can just stop running tests that are unlikely to fail and dial down the cost per test as well.
So I do think I wouldn't stop measuring time, because I do still think that's important. I think there's moments where, depending on the project, if something takes longer than 15 minutes, you're likely to lose attention and do something else. If something takes longer than 4 hours, then it's next day, and you kick things 24 hours out. So sure, I think time is still important, but I don't disagree with making failure we'll make failure the key. We'll talk about that in this meeting. The other things I'm talking about, we'll continue to measure, but we'll do that asynchronously as regular performance indicators.
Hey, Mac, are you differentiating between the tests that are running after a merge button is hit versus just running pipeline tests, or are you just combining that all together?
I think what you mean is merge trains. And I think
Well,
that's
like
different.
in theory, by the time I hit merge, we've already run the test and they successfully passed once, and it's running those tests, right? So the question would be is unless you're really like the way Sid just described that, I hit merge and I'm expecting to either pass. I'm like, I have a higher degree of confidence because it's already run once. If we're not measuring specifically that set, it's going to dilute the data, would be my assertion, because people can make like, human error as an example, right?
If we're talking within the context of an MR, I don't think we make that differentiation yet. I'm
Okay.
happy to investigate further. So for the interest of getting concrete action items for us next time, is there a focus that we should reduce on, cost, time, or is it just an addition that we should look at, time to pipeline failure? That's it outlined.
Yeah, let's go with time to failure and make the rest RPIs.
Then we will make that change. Then I'll take an action item to update the next iteration.
Cool.
We've
Thanks.
always been a company of iteration and never a fail fast, but now we're a company of fail fast as a KPI.
Fail faster.
In a very narrow technical sense, that is true.
Thank you, Eric. Thanks, Mac.
Thank you for the feedback. Appreciate it.
So Sid, you've got 8.
Yeah, great. LCP is looking good. Largest contentful paint, like how fast does a website feel? Are we sure that that graph is the 90th percentile? It's always like, I'd love to have that in the title of that graph, if that's actually what we're measuring. It's almost too good to be true.
Well, it's the 90th percentile of the pages that we're testing against, right? So it's our testing of those pages, is the 90th percentile of it. So as opposed to like, if you want to say comprehensive all page loads for this page, regardless of project and those kinds of things, that would be the extreme of the 90th percentile.
Yeah, well, we can get there later, but request now is like change the title of that graph if it is measuring the 90.
We'll fix that up so that it reflects that.
And then I think we have a page somewhere where we compare like 4 of our pages against GitHub. I think if you're looking at the LCP value, that might be relevant. I'm not suggesting changing the KPI or anything else. I'm just saying, hey, in that description, it would be nice to have a link there because I have a hard time finding it right now.
Yeah, that's fair. That's on our to-do list, and we'll add that to basically link to those other pages.
Cool. And I got a bit lost. There's engineering performance indicators, and I couldn't really get to development performance indicators from the on this page section. On this page section had like security, quality, UX, but it didn't have development, which seems like the biggest part of engineering. So maybe we can have a look at that right-hand side.
Oh, you're right. That's weird. Is it not in the page?
Well, maybe it's in one indented. The header has one extra indent and it doesn't show up or something like that. I don't know.
The other thing that sometimes happens is someone hopefully updates the name of the department in the YAML, and then it breaks the parameter we're passing into this page to pull the whole set out. Yeah, I don't see any of the development ones on this page. So that must have broken.
All right, well, you're welcome. I have number 9 as well. Mark, first of all, thanks for making that. Appreciate it. It now says this measures the cumulative value of paid customers' contributions to GitLab. No, it does not. We're not measuring the value of their contributions. I think we're measuring like how active the biggest customers are, how actively our biggest customers are contributing. Maybe I'll change it. And
thank you for that, Sid. I'll take accountability on. So go ahead, Sid.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks, Mac. And maybe we should add. We believe that if this gets, and I'll type it in afterwards. We believe that if they contribute more, their net retention will be better, and will gain a lot of useful features.
Thank you. I'll
Craig.
take accountability for the paid customers. That was my polish. Kyle on the call actually did get the definition right per gearing on the larger customer. So we'll adjust that accordingly to the latest definition here. Thank you for the feedback.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you. Craig, you have A9B.
Yeah, I think we already discussed that. So I think yeah, I'm okay with you lowering the target temporarily to 20 million, just so we can see the trending. And then as we get bigger, we make the target bigger. So.
Cool. Number 10, small thing. These MRs are great from the departments. I think the last part about this MR from UX doesn't show up because it's about a PI and not a KPI. Is that correct?
We do only track KPIs here, so they won't show up in this agenda page, but they will show up on the UX performance indicator page. So if I'm looking at her YAML now, I think Christy's off this week. Is it the perceived user? Which KPI are you talking about, Sid?
I should have made it a deep link to the end. It's the last line changed on this diff.
Okay.
Target attainment during the past 2 months have been slightly above 50%. Yeah, those scroll down. This last green thing.
Yeah, I keep doing. Here we go. Is key false? Yes. So this was a change
Okay.
to RPI.
Okay,
not
that makes sense. Maybe just let's disregard my statement. Thanks. Number 11. Can we make metrics relative to team size so they are stable over time? For example, the volume of community MRs and the handbook update frequency?
So the volume of community MRs, I believe we can just remove because now we're tracking the wider MR rate, and that will take care of that.
Let's remove it.
Okay. And handbook update frequency, yes, we should control for team size. And make that, I mean, that's basically a handbook MR rate. So
Yep.
we could look to convert that.
And if that's a success, we might roll that out to all departments. Like, hey, you should have a 1 handbook MR rate.
Yeah, that has been, and credit to my team. The reason my chart is going up and on the right is because they've been driving their 4, and that includes Steve and Tom over in their areas who aren't included in this key review. So they've been making it work in their local areas, and it shows up here. So we can convert that to an MR rate. Although, I mean, our team really isn't changing much in size right now, so we can control for it. That'll show a different signal in the history, and when we get back into hypergrowth again, who knows, but right now the time series is pretty static, so it's not misleading if we look at it currently.
Yeah, two reasons. Like, eventually we're going to grow it significantly again, and I want it to like keep up automatically and show it automatically. And second, and I want to create a bit of healthy competition in the company who can drive the most handbook updates per team member. I think legal is going to win, but we'll see. They do very big MRs, so that's their handicap. Cool.
I assigned to do so myself. We will track it in engineering data capabilities. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Mac. 12 is addressed by removing it. 13. Any red team finding follow-ups? It's not on here, but I thought last time they had a pretty good attack, and wonder how we're doing on addressing that.
Yeah, so Jonathan is sick today, but he gives me a readout on the red team's activities every week in our 101, and I can link you to the issue where Steve, the red team manager, basically gives us a status update every week. So let me pull that link up.
Maybe I'd love like for that to, is that open to the company?
It is not, because they are trying to infiltrate the rest of the company. So they do work in a eventual transparency
Okay.
mode, because otherwise they're
I might want to see that. I'm not sure. Maybe consider what you think about that, about sharing that with me.
yeah, I can I've got the issue here. I'll put it in, and then I'll add it to our one-on-one meeting later today, and we can make that a regular sort of thing. And this is confidential, so I'll add you right now and you can read async.
Cool. Appreciate it.
All right, we're at the end of the agenda. Anyone have anything else?
I just want to give a shout out. I heard my name pretty often, but I want to give a kudos to Kyle, Lily, and also the data team in helping us move fast with the engineering data capability. So credit where credit's due. Thank you very much.
Yeah, great job by all of you taking on the data stewardship for engineering without any additional headcount and making it work. Things are moving fast, so that's awesome. All right, well, thanks everybody, and have a great Thanksgiving and holiday. Cheers.